Welcome to this edition of Museum Insider from the National Museum of Military Vehicles. I'm Craig Blumenschein. Dr. Julie Elledge is my guest, and she is the founder and chief executive officer at Mentor Agility, based in Jackson, Wyoming. Julie, welcome to this edition of Museum Insider.
Thank you so much, Craig. I'm looking forward to our conversation.
We have some exciting news, Julie. We want to do two things today. We want to talk about what's upcoming relative to the Veterans Talking to Veterans program that I'll have you talk about here in just a moment, and then also recap what happened last May with the first edition of this program. So I think the big news today is announcing a date. Julie, when is the second annual Veterans Talking to Veterans program going to be held?
It is May 25th, 2024, and it'll be the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend.
And this is a partnership, correct, between the museum, the National Museum of Military Vehicles, Mentor Agility, and the Wyoming Veterans Commission.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
If I were to ask you, Julie, what the objectives are of this, what is now an annual event, what would you tell me?
Well, the birth of the event came about for a couple different reasons. One is that we wanted the governors to be able to give the diplomas to the Veterans Talking to Veteran coaches and to bring attention to the work that they are doing in the communities. But an important role that the Veterans Talking to Veterans coaches have is a leadership role in each of the communities. And one of the things that they do in working with coaches is they help to connect veterans to the amazing work of other organizations that are being done in the state of Wyoming. And oftentimes, just by the nature of how institutions and organizations work, a lot of times it's ivory towers. And so we don't know what the other organizations are doing. And we really needed the Veteran Talking to Veteran coaches to know those organizations and not just only look at a list, but to actually understand and know what those organizations are doing to really help veterans connect to these opportunities that are out there for them. So what we did is we combined the graduation for the Veterans Talking to Veterans coaches with a Veterans Talking to Veterans resource fair. And this year, we're going to take it to the next level. And the museum, the National Museum of Military Vehicles, are going to do something really wonderful to really create the space for veterans to connect with other veterans and veterans to connect with organizations and veteran-centric organizations to connect with other veterans-centric organizations for collaboration. And so the museum is getting a tent so that we can really have a fun, fair kind of environment where the organizations will be able to do more than just talk about what they do. They can actually create experiences of what they do so that veterans can come and really engage with each other and with the organizations and understand this is amazing what these organizations do. So not only do our veteran coaches get to engage, but then veterans from around the state and even outside of the state can come and really understand the resources that are out there for them.
Julie, give us some more detail about what Veterans Talking to Veterans is.
So Veterans Talking to Veterans, was born on the day we pulled out of Afghanistan. So I called Tim Shepard, who is the Wyoming Veterans Commission, and I said, I know we've got a problem here that, a lot of veterans are really affected by what's happening here. And so he said, what do you got? Let's do something. So we began to build this program called Veterans Talking to Veterans and together. And it has turned out to be very powerful because we wanted to do more than just like prevent suicides or prevent mental illness crisis. We really wanted to bring thriving to the veterans community. And that's where coaches come into play because coaches are not really utilized or are aware, the community is not really aware of the role of coaching. So corporate America and health and wellness coaching and personal coaching, all these industries are embracing coaching as another path to not only mental health, but really mining the potential. So when a veteran or active military or family members, when they are transitioning from the military into a civilian community, it is what veterans talking to veteran coaches do is it helps them transition and mine their potential of this amazing background that they have received and really transfer it so that they are thriving and they are living up to not only their potential and their performance, but they're able to really find this purpose and this meaning in a different type of community. And they are taking those strengths that they may have experienced and bringing it to the civilian community. And that's the role of the veteran coaches. So while we start out with group coaching, what we've seen over the last couple years while we've been building the program is that they've really emerged to be leaders in the community. So they have a role of group coaching that each of them commits to do each week. But they go way beyond that commitment, and they are showing up at special events. They're responding to private phone calls, and many of them have even they have gone beyond their volunteer because they're volunteer leaders, and they are also even doing some private coaching. So there's also the opportunity for a lot of them that they are actually charging individually in addition to their volunteering work as well. And so their commitment to their community has been profound.
And this is across the entire state of Wyoming, of course, Julie. Veterans obviously are a target audience, but families are very important here also.
Yes, and also military. We're finding active military. They're engaging with the groups, and then the family members. It's important for the whole family. So if we have 10% of Wyoming are veterans, 10%. Then you add in the average of 2.5 family members of each family, you're talking 25% of the state of Wyoming. They touch every single domain in the workplace, in the school systems, in our institutions. Veterans are threaded throughout our community.
Julie, I know you're still planning the 2024 event, but give us a description of the services and activities that happened last year and maybe what people can look forward to. Who was here?
So our governor, Governor Mark Gordon, and his wife were at the event, and the governor spoke at the event, and then stayed and took and met privately with many of our coaches, and talked to the audience, to the attendees that came. We had Conrad Washington from the National VA who came, and he is such an amazing connection for what we're doing because he is in charge of for the VA faith-based and partnerships, and also for the community. And since then, what has happened is that from being here at that event, and he also came with Henry Huntley, so both of them will be here for the 2024 event, and they will both be speaking. And we have found that many organizations are now partnering. So we're bringing in national resources into our community, and they've really brought a wonderful spotlight to our state and the work that we have done. We will have more speakers. We're thinking we'll probably have at least 2 or 3 more speakers from the Washington, D.C. that will be attending. Plus, we will also have the executive director for the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaching will also be one of our speakers, and they will have one of our circles of healing, service, and growth. So you will actually be able to engage and understand what health and wellness coaching is from them. We will also, the VA here in the state is expanding. They had several booths last year, and they're bringing many more resources So our Veterans Talking to Veterans coaches are actually trained health and wellness coaches. So they are expanding the health component to the VA. So you will be able to learn more about the health and wellness and also the mental health resources through the VA. But it goes so much further than that, Craig, because we also will be having groups that will be coming, for example, that would help veterans start their own business or need help with housing. There's organizations that are wilderness types of experiences. And then there's also organizations that will be bringing, like, for example, we had support goats last year, emotional support goats. So we're hoping that they will come back. And we are looking for organizations, for example, that support potentially children of veterans. So we really want this to be well-rounded. We have a theme this year called the Circles of Healing, Service, and Health. So they will be able to engage with organizations that help them integrate their past experiences positively into their narrative and turn it into opportunity and growth. We'll have organizations that will actually provide ways so that veterans are very service oriented, so they can do service right there in that moment. There'll be opportunities for them to stop and spend 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes doing something for other veterans. And then there will be the circles of growth in ways that they will set goals, have experiences that will help them grow in their professions and with their relationships and things like that. So we're really trying to give a well-rounded and touch every aspect of life for veterans.
Julie, if there is a veteran who is watching this right now and even might be struggling a little bit and wondering, this probably isn't for me, what would you tell them?
You know, the U.S. Surgeon General identified that in this last year, not 3 weeks before our event last year, that there is what's plaguing the United States right now is loneliness. And this event is designed to connect people, to connect veterans. And one of the most amazing outcomes that has come from our Veterans Talking to Veterans groups is that we have people that show up because they were lonely or because they felt adrift. And then we have people that come just to connect and be there for other people. And they find that by simply connecting through this unique and distinctive way that Veterans Talking to Veterans coaches bring people together, that they no longer feel alone. They are able to understand that other people have had experiences that may have caused them to doubt themselves, to maybe even feel shame for themselves, for something that they've done in the past or feel guilty about, that can break relationships. And suddenly they find that they are just human and they're able to say, maybe I'm not so bad. And maybe I have a place. And maybe that what I've experienced can be of help to other people. And maybe it's just simply that they need to grow in some way. So this is the perfect place to show up and see what is out there for veterans.
And Julie, there's no cost to attend.
I'm so proud of this event because there's no cost to the veteran or their family members. Anybody can attend it. There's no cost. The exhibitors are not charged for their tables. They do have to apply. And we do make sure that they are really doing good for the veteran community. But they are not charged. We are not paid to put on this program. We don't go after grant money for it. This is all personal attention that is being given to the veterans on every aspect of who comes to this to support the veterans community.
Julie, where can people learn more about this upcoming event, May 25th at the National Museum of Military Vehicles?
We have a website, Veterans Talking to Veterans. Right now, what's up there is like the application process where they can apply for to be an exhibitor. and they can see some videos and some of the things that happened last year. One of the areas that I'm most proud about is that the 2023 event, people really expressed that it was more than just an event. It was meaningful. I mean, people really felt a lot of emotions. The most important emotion was hopefulness and meaningfulness. And the same elements that brought that will be at this one too. And so Veterans Talking to Veterans, the agenda is not quite put up yet, but it will be up soon.
And I should stress, Julie, that people that want to just attend do not have to apply. They can just come and be with us on May 25th of 2024.
Yes, absolutely. There's no charge. You can just walk in the door. They can come to the Veterans program, and then they can also go to the museum.
Dr. Julie Elledge, she's my guest today, and she is the founder and chief executive officer of Mentor Agility based in Jackson, Wyoming. Julie, is there anything else you'd like to say about the 2024 Veterans Talking to Veterans event?
Well, this event, I am so excited for it because it's going to be an active, involved, engaged event. And we're going to have some really spectacular speakers. So I really urge everybody to come out, hear the speakers, the testimonials, and to really engage and have some fun with your family and learn a little bit more about yourself and do something great for your fellow veterans.
People meeting each other last year was very powerful to me, and the museum is absolutely honored to be a part of this, Julian. And thank you very much for your work.
Thank you, and thank you so much for supporting us. I'd like to also add that one of your staff members is a Veterans Talking to Veterans coach.
And that's Ray Whitley, our curator, Julie.
Yes, and what better person to have to tell you stories and to engage with your stories than a curator of a museum who understands storytelling so well.
Julie, thank you so much for joining us today.
And thank you, Craig. We look forward to seeing you.
Can't wait. It's a great event. Really encourage all to attend, veterans or non-veterans, family members. It's worthwhile and it's very powerful. So thanks for your work, Julie.
Thank you. Everybody's welcome.